Alright, well, this week's going to be mercifully short. I only got a couple of days to work on this project this week because I got another road trip unrelated to anything cars or automotive. I've given these stone guards, or the inner rubber fender walls, a good scrub down before I can trim them, put them in place and trim them to fit, and add any extensions that I need to fit them to the 68 Charger fenders and quarter panels. But the first thing I had to do was give them a good bath. Like I said, they look like they've been used for an off-road expedition. So I'll wait for them to dry out, and then I'll be just piddling around with a lot of loose ends that I want to make sure I don't forget. Good opportunity to do all that. Okay, after I get these inner tubs all cleaned up, I generally reinstall them and trim off the bottoms so that they're flush with the new quarter panels. Do a little trimming on this side also so that it'll tuck on the inside here. And instead of putting the rubber fasteners back in, the little plastic fasteners, expansion fasteners, I take these little aluminum nutserts and put those in so that I can just take a 1/4 with a fender washer and put them in. There's 4 points here where it connects, and then there's one up in here where it connects, and back here there's nothing obviously to connect to these holes over here, so I just ran a tech screw into this sheet metal on this drop edge, and so now I've got to get up in there and make the transition from this tub, this plastic tub, over to the body with some plastic, and just to finish the close out, because it's gapped over here. I can't show you because it's pretty dark in there. Anyway, I'll show you when I get the pattern made up for it. Alright, it's a little tough to film up in here, but I'll show you what I've got here. This is the distance I have to make up over here between the body and this plastic piece here. So I have a small rim to attach a small plastic flange over to the body. First thing I did was, instead of trying to make, a complete inner tub here, which would be very difficult to get it in, let alone try to attach it to this plastic, what I've done here is I put one layer of the sound deadening. It's a 3/32 thick, and it's very tarry, very sticky. It's got an aluminum face on it, and after this piece is in, once I make this pattern to close this out to the body, I'll make a tighter pattern and put a second layer of this material on, and that'll serve as the actual outer wheel tub in a way. In other words, this will prevent any stone chips from damaging the outer skin here, because it'll be, at that point, it'll be 3/16 thick and quite pliable also, so don't take up any kind of a little bump and a little stone or anything like that. So it's a very small area to have to deal with. So anyway, you can see I got to follow all the way down and close it up there. It touches at the bottom because it's bigger at the bottom, but then it's narrower as it comes up to the top over here. So next I'll have to make the pattern to close that in. Alright, kind of difficult to film in here. Like I said before, it's real cramped. I got the wheel hub I'm up against with my shoulder. That feels good against the wheel studs. I got some foam on them, but that's not helping much. But anyway, you can see that I've taken a bunch of different little pieces of paper and taped them all together to create this pattern all the way up to close this out. Now I'll make another solid piece of paper pattern so that I'm sure that's not all twisted up, and it'll lay in there well. Probably close up some more of these areas here a little bit closer to this, and as you can see, what'll happen is I'll create another layer of this material here, right here, so that this ledge, this plastic, once it's added to this plastic, we'll just have some place to pop up on top and create a little bit of a seal there. Might end up even adding another strip, maybe a 1/2-inch strip on top of this second layer to create more of a lip for this to pop up on top of, just so it's a little snugger fit and we don't get a lot of debris up inside here. Anyway, I'll get back to you when I do a little bit more. Okay, before I go to plastic, I went ahead and made one more pattern out of paper, one piece, to make sure that all those little tape pieces weren't all moving around on me. And did a little trimming on this to get it a little closer. And now I can make this back half out of 3/16 ABS plastic. Alright, it's a little difficult, like I said, to try and get filming going on here in the wheel tub, but you can see I've transferred the patterns over to ABS black plastic, and it's all just clecoed into place all the way up. And here it is on the other side. I'll get this light turned around here. There you go. So anyway, now I just got to rivet the two pieces together, which means I got to haul this all back out of here. Good time. So in between getting in and out of the wheel hole doing this first wheel tub, I've been getting up in here and dealing with some rust and pinholing that hadn't been dealt with yet down in this bottom ledge. So all that's been repaired, and it's been taped off and primed up a little bit here. And the reason I want to do that is while the deck lid is off, it's a whole lot easier to stand right in here and work comfortably instead of trying to overreach to do this over the sail panels here. Anyway, also I want to set all my window clips in there, drill them out and put them in location while the car is still in the rough, rather than waiting till the car is painted and then risk the possibility of the drill bit skipping up and over the paint job on the roof or something crazy like that. I know, weirder things have happened, but anyway, so I'm messing with this a little bit right now. Okay, so in line with the idea that I want to drill holes in the car before the car is painted, I went ahead and the only holes that really needed to be drilled on this tail panel were across the top for this piece to be held down to this rim here. It captures both end pieces, which have studs that they fit right through real nicely. This piece over here fit through nicely, and this mustache piece, they all just fell into place really nicely. Now I have to locate the script at the back, which is a little bit more tricky, based on the fact that it's a little bit uneven and you have to kind of figure out what's what. So what I've done here is, the first thing I did is figure out how high I wanted the RT off the bottom based on a photograph that I had, and then I measured up to the bottom of the R. Then I drew a line here so that I could make sure that the bottom of the script was sitting on the line. Once I got it spaced off the way I wanted it, I measured end to end over here, and then I drew a square line straight up the center here, so this lines up with the key barrel at the top, so that centers the script. In the back, it spaces it up off the bottom, so I have a whole pattern here for the studs that hold this to the tail panel. So I'm going to use this pattern now to drill that out. Alright, so there it is with the script on the car. Just thought I'd show you a picture of that. Alright, so I got the charger script on the sail panels here, and over here. I did the same process. Made a paper pattern, measured out from here, which is the back of this curve, or the back of the chrome trim. It would be 2 5/8 to the leading edge here. So from here, which is a 3/8, so it's about 3 inches from this inside piece of metal. Anyway, from the bottom here of the H down, it's 7 5/8, and then the bottom of this very tip, it's 7 3/4 right here, and that decks it out on both sides where it's supposed to be. All right, with the primer dry in the window channel in the back here. I want to drill out my holes for my window clips for the trim. But instead of fumbling, now that I got a layout here, you can see I've got it all laid out as to where the centers of all the clips have to go. Instead of fumbling around with the clips themselves, I made this this little paddle here that has a little, it's rounded over on one end there. It's about a 3/16 of an inch thick. Got a little round over so it'll fit down right in here. And I got a hole drilled at the correct height for the middle of the clip, so that now I can just hold this here and drill my holes in each of these locations without having to deal with fumbling around with the little clips, because I really just need the pilot hole now. I don't really need to attach the clips, and that's the name of that tune. I'm going to proceed with that operation now. Alright, back to this. I've gone ahead and I've attached the ABS plastic to extend this wheel tub out to the body. On this back side, you can see I put aluminum. There are aluminum rivets with aluminum backup washers. That gives it a little more surface area so it doesn't tear through this material here. We've got to tuck it back up in there and see if I need to do a little trimming here and there. See if it goes back up in there neatly, or if it's a bit of a struggle. So I'll be doing that next. Okay, so I got that plastic inner wheel tub back up in there with the extension on it, and I wanted to be able to kind of seal it to the body on the outside, but I didn't want to seal it permanently, you know, with silicone like I did the main crush panels in this car. So what I did was, first I added another layer of this to the outer skin in order to create a little bit more dampening for any kind of pebbles or stones on the inside of the outer wheel tub. So I added that first, and then I added a rim of this is just like a weather stripping, and I added that in there just like this is in the up direction here, so that the plastic that I added to the wheel tub falls on the top side of this rubber once you feed the whole thing up inside there. So it creates a seal, and then I sealed this material with this gasket making material to this, so that it has a gasket along the outer side, and then the plastic tucks up on top of that gasket. I'll show you that in a minute if I can. Okay, like I said, I wanted to create a ledge that I could tuck this plastic wheel tub on top of. So I had that rubber gasket here. It's attached to this, which is a double layer of that sound deadening material, which will prevent any damage from pebbles and road debris. And then I also sealed this rubber gasket on this bottom side here. So here there's no mechanical connection. It's just the rubber gasket up against this little extension that I added to the wheel tub all the way around. And that's about the size of that. That took a little while, so it's going to take me a little while to get around all four corners of this. This is just one corner. I'm going from here. Okay, so we got a brand new deck lid. The one we had was not in too bad condition for considering it was a used one, except the top surface was really dented up, and the thing was twisted, and it was full of sand from the media blast, and just kept falling out. I could never seem to get it to get completely clean. I blew it out a bunch of times, but I could just see all that sand blowing out onto the paint job while I was trying to paint it. But that wasn't a determining factor. It was just, it had a lot of dents in it, and it was twisted, and so we decided to go ahead and get a brand new one, and it looks great. So got it mounted up. I was kind of hoping against hope that while it does fit better, we still have a situation where we're real tight on the seam right about there on either side. So we get to the point where I'm going to have to cut it from about there to there and even cut these end caps a little bit to give it a little bit of a gap, because we're definitely not going to cut on this piece. So pretty good shape. I like it. Anyway, we're going to move on with this. Cut the tops of the quarters and do a little bit of adjustment there. Okay, I just got done cutting and re-welding this, moving this over from about that point over in order to get this to gap a little bit better. Looks pretty good. Let me just get this open here. I guess the guy who put the quarters on and these trunk gutters, these are new, but he welded them to the old trunk gutter, and I guess he was planning a downspout right here because this was all Swiss cheese here. I tried to fill up a couple of pinholes here. I started chasing it all over until I ended up having to cut out some and put some metal in here because it was just too much. I got a similar situation going over there, but you can see the missing metal on that side. Anyway, just trying to spruce up some little stuff here. I did have to cut this cap over here. I don't know why, but I did. This should not have to be cut, but I'll have to fill that in with epoxy. Anyways, moving right along. Okay, so I went ahead and I did this side over here. Then I went ahead and got some panel bond, and I'm sealing up these seams here. That's normally done with seam sealer, but I have some areas that are a little bit more aggressive, that they need a little bit more filler. Like that back there, I want to make sure that doesn't leak. So I filled that up, and those inner corners in the back over there and over here and over here, and on the side, like I said, had to cut into this little cap here, so I had to fill that in with a little epoxy. Anyway, I moved on to I have to secure these bumperettes. There's two brackets on the bottom that go to nowhere at this point, because this is not a stock Charger, obviously. So I have to tie these together first, and then I have to tie them back to the bumper brackets. And what I've started off with is I got a piece of 1 inch by 1 inch 049 wall tubing, and I've got some captured T-nuts in here. And what I'll do is I'll bolt these up to the bumperettes, and then I'll go off of these and with some brackets or some braces to the rear bumper bracket. All right, with that piece bolted in the car to the bumperettes, what I did was I took a piece of 065 wall 3/4 inch tubing, flattened it out in the press, then I bent it over and drilled a hole in it, rounded it over the edges. I got a little bevel cut here where it'll run into that tube that I have bolted up. Now I'm going to bolt this up to the bumper bracket, and then I'll tack this piece to it and make one for the other side. Alright, so this is what this gizmo looks like welded up. This is where it attaches to one of the bolts on the bumper bracket, and this is where it picks up the bottom of the two bumperettes. I want to clean it up and paint it up before I bolt it back into the car for the last time. Alright, so I don't know if you can see that clearly, but here you can see the bottoms of the little bumperettes tie into this 1 inch tube here that goes across, keeps them evenly spread, and then these come forward and just they bolt in those flattened tabs right to one of these bolts to the bumper bracket, so that kind of firms everything up as far as the bumper's concerned on both sides like that. Anyways, this pretty much concludes the fab work from the sail panels back on this car. I'm presently working in the right side wheel tub. It's a joy, but I'm not going to drag you through all that again. So anyway, that's going to be it for this week. I appreciate everybody for watching, and I guess I'll see you on the next one.